The slave trade must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity.
Black people demand reparations. Ghana hosts conference on reparations for transatlantic slave trade. 3 months ago, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a proposal put forward by Ghana on behalf of African Union member states.
We're called to stand on the right side of history. Let it be recorded that when history beckoned, we did what was right for the memory of the millions who suffered the indignity of the slave trade and those who continue to suffer racial discrimination.
This proposal recognizes the trafficking of enslaved Africans and the racialized chattel enslavement of people from the continent as one of the gravest crimes against humanity.
It is the categorization of us as subhuman. It is the categorization of us as chattel, as property, that stripped us of our dignity first and foremost.
Of the 193 United Nations member states, 123 voted in favor of the proposal, while only 3 countries voted against. The United States, Israel, and Argentina voted against. The entire European Union abstained, including the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. South Korea voted in favor, while Brazil, home to the largest slave market, also voted in favor. On Wednesday, 17th of June 2026, in Accra, Ghana, the Ghanaian President John Mahama hosted an event he called Next Steps, aimed at seeking compensation for transatlantic chattel slavery. I simply don't understand this approach. Why don't they put similar effort into improving their countries and collaborating for economic success? Who should compensate whom and for what reasons? For instance, Malaysia was colonized for over 440 years, which is longer than the combined duration of colonialism in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. During the 17th and 18th centuries, the Dutch East India Company, VOC, enslaved people from the East Indies and the Malay Peninsula, transporting them to the Cape Colony. It was the British who ultimately abolished chattel slavery in Malaysia in 1915. Similarly, Indonesia faced over 340 years of colonization, longer than the combined periods of colonization in Cote d'Ivoire, Tanzania, Cameroon, and Uganda, all of them combined. The Dutch East India Company, again VOC, also enslaved some Indonesians who were taken to the Cape Colony. Moreover, groups such as the Polish, Ukrainians, among many others worldwide, experienced enslavement as well. I want to clarify that I am not here to justify slavery, especially the transatlantic chattel slavery, which was organized and commercialized by Europeans over centuries, transforming it into a highly profitable industry. My point is not to defend this abhorrent chapter in history, but to address the never-ending cry and the perpetual victimhood often expressed by black people. Black Africans have owned slaves for centuries themselves, if not millennia. We sold our own people into slavery and the white men paid for them. If anyone should be compensated, it should be us, black Africans, compensating those in Brazil, Colombia, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, and elsewhere in the Americas. We are the ones who sold them. While it is true that some were kidnapped by white and forcibly taken into slavery, we need to question why black Africans who sold them are now playing the victim. There is a pervasive victim mentality that has been instilled in us, leading us to blame the white man and perpetually assume a victim role. We have ample time to organize effort and resources just to seek for compensation. Still, instead of channeling our energy into creating a universal Africa research center or developing a 25-year plan to eradicate hunger, we are dwelling on events from long ago. Now, we are expecting to be given money for free. Let me ask you, if today's European were poorer than the Afghans, do you think any Africans or black would be seeking compensation? The only reason they do this is that Europeans are wealthy. They want some of that wealth for free. The Arabs also took slaves from Africa, and their treatment of these slaves was extremely harsh. They often castrated male slaves to prevent them from procreating or reproducing, viewing them as unworthy of being considered fully human. Many of these eunuchs were then forced to serve as guards for harems, royal courts, and religious sanctuaries. Why aren't these black people requesting compensation from the Arabs too? One thing that consistently unites black Africans is this tendency to see ourselves as victims. In contrast, look at Malaysia. After enduring centuries of subjugation, it now has a bigger economy than any African economy. No African country matches Malaysia's economic strength. They don't complain about colonization or demand compensation, despite being colonized for a much longer period. Similarly, Indonesia has successfully regrouped and now boasts an economy larger than that of West, East, and Central Africa combined. Colonialism, slavery, and subjugation did not prevent them from progressing. When was the last time you saw Indonesia or Malaysia going to the United Nations to lament about colonization? Another country to consider is the Philippines. It was colonized for over 377 years, which is longer than the combined duration of colonization in Burkina Faso, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Rwanda. Some enslaved Filipinos were sent to the Americas as well, and Europe. Horrible things occurred in the past. We were weak, disorganized, and less advanced, which led to our conquest. That's done and over with. It is time to move on. Everyone is better than us. We are busy hosting conferences to beg for money that we didn't earn. Let's consider a scenario where Europeans decide to compensate black people with $1 trillion. How would these funds be divided? In 2026, we can't even produce basic engines, yet we seek compensation instead of focusing on research and developing our economies. We have mismanaged funds that are meant to benefit our communities, and now we pretend as if such compensation were granted, would use it responsibly. Now, who gets more? It is very risky giving compensation to people who don't have a tradition of building or creating successful economies. When you give money to a broke person, give them a few weeks, months, a year, they get broke again because they don't know how to create wealth. How would these funds be divided? That would be the black people's World War III. Infighting, tribal fighting. The Igbos would be like, well, they took more slaves from us, we deserve these. The Yoruba would be like, well, the Igbo are so domineering. Well, the Senegalese people will start the wall-off in Senegal, will be like, oh no, we need to get this because they took that amount. The Ashanti will go like, these Nigerians, they're always domineering. The Ovimbundu of Angola, where the largest slaves were extracted, will be like, well, they took the largest from us, so we deserve more. Giving such compensation to black people would be the worst thing ever, because they have no tradition of building successful economy or tradition of wealth. People who have not managed to keep up colonial structures for their own sustenance, people who have not managed to control their birth rate, people who have not managed to provide electricity for their countries, people who have not managed to plan and build decent cities, people who can't build basic road, asphalt, just simple thing like that. Or people who can't even grow food to feed their people despite all the arable land, but are great at organizing conference to beg for handout. So after reparation, let's say you give this 1 trillion, hypothetically, to black people. I bet you they have no tradition of creating wealth. In a few years, they'll use it to buy more Ferraris, sport car, designer clothes, private jets. Like 5 years down the line, they're broke again. They'll come back and complain, well, you know, the compensation was this, we need this again, this happens. People who know how to create wealth, people who are not irresponsible, people who understand that I have to earn everything I have, would not beg for handout or seek such ridiculous compensation. One good question anyway. After the reparation, would you, black people, no longer or never mention slavery or colonialism? I bet you black people would still mention it. They would never give up because they were indoctrinated into this victimhood mentality. Even if black people were compensated with $5 trillion, the size of Germany's economy, come back in a decade, it would still resemble Lagos our street will still be like Lagos, Accra, Kinshasa, and Kampala. There'll be no difference. Why do you think most people who win the lottery end up worse off than they were before? Wealth creation is a skill, not just a matter of luck. If you took everything away from Elon Musk today and give him 10 years, he would likely become a millionaire, if not a billionaire again. Neither colonialism or slavery is the reason black Africans are poor, underdeveloped, tribalistic, and producing endless babies without control or planning. I understand that no country has the right to invade another, imposing its system of governance and then claiming that it brought them out of the Stone Age, or claim that when they arrived, the Africans hadn't developed the will, or when they arrived in South Africa, there were no Bantus. Whether Africans lived in tribes, killed each other, enslaved each other, or developed nothing, that doesn't justify your interference into their world. I understand. Good. Still, crucially, had black Africans had the brains when the Europeans left Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Ghana, Tanzania, Cameroon, Nigeria, and all other black African countries, they left behind infrastructure and a system of governance that should have propelled the Africans into development. No other group of people has regressed in human history like black people. Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Poland, Moldova, Serbia, Slovenia, Ukraine, Peru, Uruguay, and every other culture in the world is better off than it was in the 60s and 70s, except black Africans. Most African countries were richer and better structured and organized than Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand in the 60s. Today, the combined GDP of Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand exceed 2.4 trillion, more than the total GDP of black Africa. What Africa needs is education and sacrifice, not compensation and handout. The continent cannot achieve development with the same ineffective leadership in place. No amount of compensation will address Africa's numerous challenges. Haiti is the greatest example of a potential biological deficiency in the brain of the black man. On 1st January 1804, freed black men formed what is now known as Haiti. They speak the same language, the same people, the same culture. They have grown into what is now the Haitian people. France imposed a fee for its freedom, which it paid off in 1947, before Singapore, Malaysia, and most of its African cousins gained independence. Haiti's GDP is smaller than that of the richest man in Nigeria, Aliko Dangote. The Japanese brutally invaded South Korea, which was poor and surviving on aid, while African countries under their European masters at the same time needed no aid. They were thriving. On 15 August 1948, South Korea declared the Republic of Korea. 2 years later, the Korean War erupted, lasting for 3 years, inflicting more damage to the already poverty-ridden country. Note, Haiti was already an independent country for over a century before that. South Korea went through all that hardship, regrouped, and transformed the Republic of Korea into the Republic of Innovation, the miracle on the Han River. Haitians are busy killing each other instead of loving each other. Africans are busy hosting conferences to claim compensation for something that affected none of them alive today. Ask the black people in Barbados, the Bahamas, the Bermuda if they'd like to return to Africa. None would say yes. Nobody wants to associate themselves with the Africans because mixing with the bottom makes you the bottom. Today, the Europeans would not need Africans to sell each other into slavery. Many black Africans in Africa today would volunteer to be taken as slaves to Europe and North America rather than stay on that impoverished, cursed continent. The Africa that was handed back to black people in the 60s was in better shape than the Africa of today. West Africa has destroyed its forests, that even Europe now has more forest than West Africa. Black Africa lacks competence to develop, starting from Douala, Cameroon, Lagos, Nigeria, Libreville in Gabon, Brazzaville in Congo Republic, Kinshasa, DR Congo, Bangui, Central African Republic, Harare, Kampala, Lusaka, Bujumbura, and all the other African capitals in the 60s looked clean, structured, and organized. The black African ruined its cities and countries. It doesn't understand economy, leadership, or country. What it needs is re-education, refocusing, and potentially external powers to help it consolidate and restructure. I don't understand how people people will sit together, fly from Namibia, Senegal, all around the world, even from Barbados, come into Ghana, spend all those jet fuel costs, private jet, to discuss about some compensation. Why not use the same effort to discuss how to eradicate poverty, how to improve your lives? People who can make money would not beg for money. Only those who have no money, who have no ability, no know-how to make money will go around begging for money. Why should any German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, English, Irish, Polish, or whatever European give you some money for something that happened hundreds of years ago? You were not the only one who was enslaved. Slavery was everywhere. How about the Arabs who did terrible things hundreds of years? We should go back, sit down together and look inward, because our problem is right there staring at us. It's nothing to do with the white person or any other people. All races had struggles, had terrible history at some point, because humans grow. After a while we realize that certain behavior, certain things we did was not right. But just to sit back and blame the past and indoctrinate your children into that victimhood, it's just not healthy. I'm not saying this because I support slavery or I don't condemn it. I condemn slavery. I condemn colonialism. You can see my videos. I'll even confront white people who'd say things like, well, colonization was good. I'll say, well, yes, colonization was good, but it was good because it was an accidental good, because white people wanted colonization for their own benefit. They wanted to expand. So it was by accident. They didn't do it because they wanted to help black people. Nobody leaves Europe thousands of miles away and comes to Africa to help black people. Come on, that's not true. But again, we have to sit down and look at ourselves and realize that we are the problem. No one did anything wrong to us. We are the problem. I mean, look at Africa. We have more arable land than Europe, South America, North America combined. Yet you're hungry. Are you serious? How? It doesn't make any sense. It's nobody's fault. That's why nobody respects the black man, because all we do is complain. We are aggressive. We are loud. If you think we're wrong, if you think there was anything we missed, please leave them in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.